Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we're back. We're live.
I think Ashley likes to do that to
We're
trick us.
back.
We're in the middle of the conversation in the break and things like that. I think Ashley's thinking, I'll switch those mics on just when they least expect.
What was it last time?
You know, after all, she has
they
to have
had it
fun
on
too,
and
right?
You guys were like,
No warning.
being silly.
Mike left. I think she
Oh, my
tries to
word.
say it just as quickly as possible and
Yeah.
somewhat under her breath. Just
Mike's on. This guy next to me kind of looks familiar. I think he's been here a couple of times before.
I think he's been here a couple of times. We have one of our fantastic sponsors who has been with us since almost the very beginning of the show. I think it was only a couple
2 weeks in.
Yeah, I think a couple 2-3 weeks in, and Jason jumped on as a sponsor of the show. So we definitely want to give you some awesome press on that for having been a supporter of our show and
And
our
give him
efforts.
an award of the year for
Yes,
hanging in with you guys for so long.
for putting up with us for this long.
And
Can you believe there's
Just got
anyone
a
out there that would
high
actually
five.
sponsor this kind of lunacy?
I know.
and Teresa, your award's
He
in the mail, by the way.
He literally, he's shaved his head, but I was going to say he's lost all of his hair.
Yeah.
Because of
on
you
purpose.
guys.
Yes. So first of all, tell us just shameless plug for your company, and we want to make sure as a sponsor you get that special love on that. But then we brought you here to talk about a charity as well. So give us a little how do you do there from the company.
Sure. Well, I am a second-generation insurance firm. My father started the business about 33 years ago. I started with him when I was 15. He did something at the age of 19 that changed my life. We went to an appointment. He told me to go to be ready in a suit and tie on a specific day, be downstairs. I showed up. I asked him where we're going. He said, shut up, listen, and learn. And the next thing you know, we go to a house, knock on the door, a woman walks out, and she starts embracing him. And I told my dad, being the smart, sensitive person I am, I said, Dad, if this is your way of saying that we have another family, it's not really cool. He looks at me and points and puts 3 fingers up, and he says, shut up, listen, and learn.
Yeah.
So we walk in, and that's when my life changed. She sat down, and she uncontrollably started crying.
Man.
And my father was there to deliver a life insurance check. And that life insurance check showed me that what I thought he did for a living was really not. And so that's when I realized that it wasn't about selling insurance, owning your own business, making good money. If you wanted to make unlimited, it's really up to you. It was really being there for another human being when they really needed you. And so my principle at the age of 21, I started my own firm, and I've been doing it for going on 15 years this November. And that's how I got it.
I'd be willing to bet that same story has a lot to do with why you're here today.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. If it's one thing that I've learned is that, there's always a why in business. There's a why as a human being, and you kind of touched on it earlier.
There has to be.
There's a why.
Not, you won't have the fuel and the energy it takes to build a business.
Absolutely. So my why as a human being is simply put as I want this world to be a better place by the time that I leave it, and within that, I want to be able to inject the opportunities for people to be able to grow as a human being and have the impact when it's possible. So that's who we are.
So, well, talk about the charity that you have this passion about.
Yeah. So I got involved with Fanatical Change in the later part of 2010. Fanaticalchange.org is basically a group of individuals that all we do is raise as much money as we can, and we can go completely broke the very next day.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
I'm in real estate.
Done on purpose.
Baby, we're apparently running a charity. I had no idea. She's just called it shopping all this time.
There you go, right?
Yeah. Okay, Rob, you can put your cup away. Taking donations.
Right. So what we do is we, as an organization, we once or twice a year, what we do is we put together an event, Party with the Cause, right? And we get as much of the actual party to be donated, and whatever's not donated, then either myself, Stephen Kaufman, or some other individual volunteers, we actually put it out of our pocket to make it happen.
Wow.
And all we do is raise as much money as possible. Now, the theme of the whole process of what we do is 7 days before the event, we actively work with the Houston Police Department, with the local news stations to find a family that has actually experienced a tragic event. It could be a hate crime. It could be a murder. It could be if somebody had a fire, car accident, you name it. We've seen it all. And so what we do is we work with them to verify that there wasn't any criminal or negative activity that brought that on. And then at that point in time, we just basically host a party in their name. And at the event, we raise as much money as we possibly can. The very next morning, at probably between 7:30 and 8:30 in the morning, volunteers, sponsors, or anybody who wants to be involved, we pretty much just have a huge debate upon which families deserve the money the most.
That's
because
a tough decision.
It's
There's
very
a lot
tough.
of deserving families out there. People
Absolutely. And how do you choose, right? And mind you, we have a committee that specifically looks for these individual families to find out what happened, what the story is, and it's their job to convince the rest of the volunteers, how do we allocate that money? So on average, we raise between $50,000 to $60,000 in a specific night, let's say as an example. Well, how do you divvy that up? And so what we've been able to do is we then work with the police departments, we work with the families, and not everybody needs $10,000. Sometimes they just need $1,000. Sometimes they just don't even need money. They just need someone to be there for them. So we put together, whether it be human capital, monetary means that give them a chance to make an impact. And it goes back to the word fanatical. The fanatical change is because the only way it really can make an impact on a human being is when it just now happened. And the reality is they didn't even realize that there was the local community, Houston, came together to help them out.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful part.
Pay it forward.
People in
Completely.
crisis.
Yeah.
People
Completely.
in crisis.
Yeah.
That happens to a lot of people.
And I tell you, the first time that I got involved, it was such a change for me, another pivotal point in my life, because seeing a family walking into a home, and you had, the first time I went to a house. You have a woman who lost all of her 3 kids in a car accident. They were on their way to school, and they basically they got into a car accident. And for me to be able to go in there and talk to them, and for her to not be able to stand up because she was so taken back on the fact that she didn't realize that human beings in Houston, the local community, really cared. And that's what changed it for me. Honestly.
We're
all day long.
losing Teresa over there.
Cry right now. That's, I mean, it's
that
I couldn't imagine.
And everything we do is transparent. No one makes money. We don't pay anybody. It's 100% volunteer, and all we do is we are passed through. Money raised, money given out. Now, the one thing that you do have to be aware of is that we also film everything. So you can go to fanaticalchange.org.
Oh, awesome.
You can see every video of every family that we've ever helped,
That's
and we will
awesome.
make sure that
We would film
we know
everything,
what
but we
goes.
don't want it to be used against us.
If ever I get mad at you or Joe or Chris.
And see, this goes to right there, all the impact. Just telling the story and watching the impact. Teresa's on the far end from me, so I'm watching her over here. This is the reaction
Well,
she was
Teresa
having to
has
this.
3 kids. When he said
I
3
do.
kids, I'm
Yeah.
sure
I
that
have
started resonating with
3
you.
gorgeous
Absolutely.
little boys. I just, I actually had a little brother die of cancer whenever he was 5 and I was 9, and we were living in Lufkin, Texas, and they life flighted him into MD Anderson. That's where he would go to get his chemo treatments, and we used to draw straws, to see who would get to skip school and go with my mom to take him for his chemo treatment for the day. And the night that he passed away, they life flighted him in, and my dad made a good living, but he couldn't afford that bill for the life flight.
Yeah.
And our church got together and raised enough money to pay for that.
Absolutely.
And
That's
so,
awesome.
I'm a child of the kind of, what you're talking about, where a community comes together and they help a family in need. And it really, I think, has impacted who I am as a human being as well, because
It forms
I just, love helping people.
Yeah.
And it just,
Why she's a top producer, because she loves helping people.
Yeah, I mean it's
Period.
it's just one of those things, And right now we're putting together our next event. It's going to be on October 30th, so it's going to be a Halloween thing. And our parties are always themed. It's either a masquerade ball of some sort, or there's a theme, and we get people donating time, efforts, and everything. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And so right now I'm actually responsible in providing the venue, and we're in the process of talking to Minute Maid Park to actually see if they can provide their facilities. and obviously see how they will be able to partake in that. But it's October 30th. We are completely 100% volunteer. And what we're looking at doing is, if you're interested in getting participating, reach out to me. We meet practically run around every 2 weeks. We meet for about an hour, hour and a half. We go in, do business, figure out the structure. Our goal is to do two things. Every volunteer that comes in, they have two jobs. One is for that the next time you come in, you're bringing two people first. Secondly, is that you make a commitment that at the date of the event, you're committing to inviting 10 individuals of your friends and family, of people who want to make an impact in this community, in the local community, to the event. That's the only responsibility we're asking for. Other than that, the rest of it is if you want to have a job and work on the event side, the marketing, or if not the infrastructure as far as logistics, you pick and choose.
So it's kind of an MLM for charity.
Completely.
I love it.
Completely.
I love it.
Yeah, because I know 10 people you don't know, and you know 10 people I don't know. You come together, we got 20 people. You put 40 people together, that's 400 individuals.
Well, you better
Simple as that.
definitely invite me, because
Absolutely.
I would love
You're
to.
officially invited.
Yay. Yay. Haha, you boys weren't. Just I. No, I'm kidding.
We originally had our Rat Pack event for that 30. We might want to move to the
October
29th.
30th?
There you go.
Yeah. So
There you go.
we might want to readjust so we can attend both.
I'd love it.
I would love to
Jason,
come
Or we could do it together.
We are coming up on
There's
a
a thought.
hard break here at the bottom of the hour, so please tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and participate in
absolutely.
Fanatical Change.
So first off, you can go to fanaticalchange.org, look us up. We've been around for a long time. HEB, Kroger's, they've been great supporters. You can contact me directly at 832-754-7808. That is my personal cell. You can call me at any time. We'll get you situated. Or you can email me at jason@jasonjimenezInsurance.com.
Awesome. Well, we're up against this hard break, as I said, and we are going to be back with more Rebels with a Cause after a word from our sponsors.
The sailor said, quote, ain't that a hole in the boat? My head keeps spinning. I go to sleep and keep grinning. If this is just the beginning, my life is gonna be beautiful.